Well, while South Korea's political chaos may be winding down, the Netherlands is in full turmoil. Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof says he's stepping down from the top job and will stay on as caretaker. The announcement confirms a snap election is now on the horizon for the country. The move came after far-right leader Geert Wilders toppled the government Tuesday by pulling his party for freedom from the coalition made of four parties because it would not back his plans for tougher asylum rules. This alliance had only been in place since Wilders' PVV came out on top in November's election in 2023. Let's hear from Wilders and Schoof now.
Je ziet ook dat alle landen, of veel landen in de Europese Unie.
I also just informed the Prime Minister that I will withdraw the PVV ministers from the cabinet and that we can no longer bear responsibility for this. I signed up for the strictest asylum policy, not for the downfall of the Netherlands. And our responsibility for this cabinet therefore also ends at this moment.
Dat daar geen handtekening onder zetten is dus eigenlijk in strijd met het hoofdlijnakkoord.
Een jaar geleden.
A year ago, I was asked to become Prime Minister of the Netherlands, a request that I never expected. But I said yes because I was convinced that I could contribute to solving the problems that this country is facing. I still have that conviction. And so together with the ministers of the VVD, NSC and BBB, I will continue in a caretaker capacity until a new cabinet is formed. Because life in the Netherlands and abroad continues, and decisions must be made that cannot be postponed.
Well, let's speak more on this with Lars Brummel, a postdoctoral researcher at the Institute of Public Administration of Leiden University. Great to have you on the programme, Lars. Thanks so much for joining us. So some politicians have argued that many of the PVV's demands when it comes to asylum seekers are similar to policies that are already in the coalition agreement. Wilders says he wants his coalition partners to commit to his 10-point plan on asylum seekers. What exactly are the discrepancies between what Wilders wants and what the coalition partners want?
I think what we have seen today is that the far-right PVV party withdrew from the Dutch coalition government, effectively causing the collapse of the Schoof cabinet. But to be honest, I think it's not only about today, because I think this move from Wilders did not surprise anyone in The Hague. I think most people were anticipating this to happen not only after Geert Wilders introduced this 10-point migration plan last week, for which he demanded full commitment from his coalition partners, but which he could not get. And that move, I think that's the move that now formally collapsed this government. But in truth, this cabinet had been unstable from the very beginning. I think the only stable factor in this government was political instability. So this move by Wilders, it wasn't actually a shock, but I think it's rather the natural endpoint of a coalition that was never built to last long.
Yeah, Wilders definitely threatened to topple the government several times before this. Do you think his coalition partners bear some responsibility here? Should they have taken him more seriously?
Well, it's actually quite difficult to say, because this coalition has many frictions, many tensions. It was only formed less than a year ago, and right away it was clear that the combination of parties was very fragile. So you had the PVV, a populist party with radical demands, particularly related to migration and multiculturalism. But also the liberals of the VVD party, who lost the recent national election and had to develop a new profile after their leader, Mark Rutte, stepped down after being in national politics for more than a decade. And then you had these two political newcomers that were part of the coalition. So on the one hand, the small BBB party, a new farmers party with no governing experience, and also the newly established New Social Contract Party, which was a brand new party that was only established 2 years ago, but joined this right-wing government, but soon turned out to be internally unstable, with also unclear and unstable leadership. So yes, of course, and I think what you see now also in the aftermath of what happened today and what happened yesterday is that also these three parties now try to put the blame on Geert Wilders, arguing that his move was irresponsible. He is not he is only prioritizing himself rather than the country. But I think the main reason why this cabinet government with four parties had collapsed, I think it was already there in the beginning when this coalition was formed. with a lot of political instability, a lot of frictions and tensions. And what we have seen that in the past few months, that all political leaders were not able to overcome these frictions and disagreements, and that ended today.
Yeah, it seemed that this coalition was almost doomed from the beginning. Let's talk about
I would say so, yeah.
Let's talk about this plan, 10-point plan that Wilders is demanding that the government implement. Let's zoom in on that because there are some legal concerns over some of his demands. Give us some of the key parts of that plan.
The plans that Wilders presented last week on Monday, it basically presented a 10-point plan with regards to migration. So one of the core elements of Wilders' policy profile was that he wants to decrease migration to the Netherlands, and some of these plans also included closing borders for every asylum seeker, also introducing more border control, often also referring to other countries like Germany and Austria. But already from the beginning, it has been debated whether it was realistic to implement these policies, also with regards to national law, but also particular European and international law. Because what we have also seen yesterday was that this German plan for border control was also criticized there by a judge, by a court. So yeah, there were definitely some challenges with regards to the effectiveness and possibilities to implement these 10 points that Geert Wilders proposed.
Well, Lars, you did mention some of the criticism that Wilders has received since pulling his party out of the coalition, some calling him reckless. Is this really about the asylum plan? Some say that this is just a move from Wilders to try and get people back to the polls in order to build on his victory in 2023. Do you think that's what's happening here? Is he just trying to become leader?
Well, I think it's quite hard to say now, and I think we also have to see how things are going to develop. What we know is, of course, that in the past few months, the PVV was decreasing in the polls, the most important national polls. Also on the political agenda, new issues took central place, like the war in Ukraine, defense, international safety, and what we have seen in the past few weeks is that there was less attention for migration, also less support for PVV in the polls. We also seen that it was quite difficult for the PVV to get their policies through within this coalition, not only with regards to migration, but also, for instance, with regards to healthcare, welfare, social housing. So I think this move of Wilders, I think he also did this move also to get migration back on the political agenda again, and also to show to his voters, to his supporters, that he still takes this issue of migration serious. So yes, I think also the changing political developments within the Netherlands, but also worldwide, and also given recent polls and a decreased attention for migration, all these factors led to this step that Wilders took by bringing this coalition down over migration, with the hope that migration would then be the top issue for voters during the new elections that might be held after summer.
Lars, great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us on Prime News Paris today.
You're welcome.